take a look at the welterweight matchup here. Tail of the tape. David Rice, 5 years older than David Dubinsky. Both guys 6 foot, and of course weighing in at the welterweight limit. And with that, let's throw it up to the cage. David Diamante's got the official introduction.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the space here in Westbury, New York, we are set to go for our next Triton fight of the evening. Sponsored by Cannes Sports Bar of Westbury and Diamante's Brooklyn Cigar Lounge. Your referee for this contest is Alexius Phoenix. And now, ladies and gentlemen, 3 rounds scheduled in the welterweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, this man is a freestyle fighter. He stands an even 6 feet tall. He weighed in at 170 pounds. Tonight, he makes his amateur debut representing the UFC gym from Staten Island, New York. Please welcome David Dubinsky. And his opponent across the cage, he's fighting out of the red corner. This man is a grappler. He also stands an even 6 feet tall. He also weighed in at 170 pounds. Tonight, he also makes his amateur debut, representing Renzo Gracie, fighting out of New York City. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome David Rice.
Moving on with the action on this prelim card here, Triton Fights 3. It's the welterweight division. David Dubinsky going up against David Rice. Your third man in the cage, Alexius Phoenix. Dubinsky in the blue gloves, Rice in the red. Right away, Rice goes in for a takedown.
Beautiful double leg takedown by David Rice. Wow, making a statement early. And now he's in side control here.
David Rice wasting no time. 20 seconds into round number 1, already secured a takedown and side control.
Curious to see what David Rice is setting up here. Looks like he was going to try to take his left foot and leg, throw it over David. Look for a full mount here, but he's content being in half guard.
As for Dubinsky making his debut, looks very comfortable on his back here. One thing you can't do, Jay, is you can't panic. Some fighters love actually fighting on their back.
Yeah, and it looks like David Dubinsky is trying to get back that full guard, but he just can't do it. And now David Rice looks like he's working for a Kimura on the far side.
David Dubinsky trying to will himself to get David Rice off of him. Didn't work out here. It's been all David Rice here in round number 1.
And like we talked about last fight, Dan, it's one thing to get the takedown, and it's another to keep the guy down. And David Rice is looking for a key. Oh, Dubinsky with a nice reversal.
Outstanding athleticism there by David Dubinsky, but
David Rice.
Right back to where we began.
David Rice, the superior wrestler. And what we see, Dan, in a lot of MMA fighters that are highly talented and go far is wrestling is the base. That's where it all begins. They wrestled in high school, they wrestled in college, and it translates greatly into fighting.
You're absolutely right, Jay. It's almost like the common denominator here. Well,
yes.
Guys start off wrestling in high school. They see MMA as a way to make some money, and they sign up here with Triton Fights. Not that you make any money with us, but it's a great way to get your career started. As we see 2 young fighters in the welterweight division, David Dubinsky and David Rice. It's been all David Rice here in round number 1, Jay.
Now what Dubinsky doesn't want to do is give up his back to Rice. And David Rice is just so calm.
He's got his leg locked in there.
Yeah, he does.
This was almost at a stalemate here. Alexius Phoenix giving it a good look. 14 seconds remaining here in round number 1. That's it, he tapped. Looks like he tapped. Could be wrong.
Nope, he didn't tap
It looked-
yet.
To me, it looked like he tapped. Am I hallucinating? But that's the end of round number 1. It almost looked like to me that David Dubinsky might have tapped there.
I'm going to have to see the replay, Dan. You could be right. I didn't see it from our angle. And I'm looking at the screen here in front of me.
We're going to have to take a look at that replay. Great round by David Rice. It was really took over, imposed his will on Dubinsky. I don't know, Jay. It looked like he tapped.
That was a weird situation they were in. Rice took his back.
Great job by the truck pulling this up.
And it looks like he was kind of going for like a half cradle.
Yeah. Look, this is when I thought I saw a tap. It looks like Dubinsky doesn't look troubled, and then almost kicks in. See, look, right there.
Oh,
Tap right
wow.
there.
He did tap. You're right, Dan. Great call.
Well, you know what? A cat has 9 lives, and David Dubinsky's got another life here. Round number 2 continues here at Triton Fights. Got away with one there. Alexius Phoenix is an outstanding referee.
Dubinsky with a beautiful sprawl here. 2. But Rice is just so athletic that he could just drive it in. But he's leaving his neck in there, and if Dubinsky can time this up right, he could go for a big guillotine choke.
Nice takedown there by David Rice.
But Rice is just so experienced and knows exactly what to do, right into side control so he can't get guillotined.
30 seconds into round number 3. It's been a lot of what we've seen in the first 2 rounds, and that's a lot of aggression and a lot of dominance by David Rice. Now, if you're David Dubinsky, Jay, you tapped out in this fight. You found yourself on your back for a large portion of it. What's your mindset right now as we close in on 2 minutes here?
He's got to figure out a way to get up, and this is where these young fighters, they really got to rely on their coaching. And I'm not hearing anything from Dubinsky's corner, but he's got a shrimp, he's got a squirm. Oh, and he's got a nice submission here. Oh, but Dubinsky reverses it again.
Rice got a little overzealous there.
But Rice is just so good, so calm.
Using his weight perfectly as he finds himself on top of Dubinsky like he's been this entire fight. 90 seconds remaining, round number 3.
And Rice is just working the submissions with the arm, with the anaconda choke. He's just trying everything he can to make Dubinsky submit again.
Grinding that elbow right into the face of Dubinsky. Now it's on his throat. Very deep. Face turning bright red. A minute remaining here in round number 2. In the welterweight division, it's been all David Rice. A little bit of a controversy in round number 1. Looks like David Dubinsky did in fact tap, but it wasn't seen by Alexius Phoenix. You know, he can't see every angle. But you know what? David Dubinsky really hasn't done anything with it, Jay.
No, and he's in trouble here again, and he's really just, it's a matter of time before Rice is going to improve his position, and he can't get up, and if he does get up, he's going to get taken down again.
10 seconds remain here in round number 2. David Rice putting on an all-out clinic here. You're watching Triton Fights on Flow Combat. Tell you what, Jay, David Rice has been very dominant. He's imposing his will, but it's almost like he's not really working on much when he's on top either. Yes, he's winning the fight, but we'd like to see him end it right away. You don't want to put this into the judge's hands.
Well, what he's doing is he's trying a couple different submissions. He's trying to set up different things. I think if he just focused on one submission and went all out for that one submission, he would get it. He tried the anaconda choke. We saw him try a key lock. We saw him try to do a Kimura and a rear naked choke so far. So I think he just needs to focus on one. So right here he had a nice headlock, and was trying to get that anaconda choke, and we thought he had it right here for a minute, but Dubinsky did a nice job getting out of it.
Now, if you're David Dubinsky, you've lost 2 rounds pretty convincingly. What do you got to do if you're Dubinsky?
Well, he needs to sprawl like he did in the
Ladies
beginning
and
of the second
gentlemen,
round,
this is
and he needs to keep doing that and hopefully catch a punch because he's down 2 rounds to 0.
Back to the action here at the space at Westbury. You're watching Triton Fights, round number 3 of a fight that's been dominated by David Rice in the red and black.
And Dubinsky did the one thing that you cannot do is throw a big uppercut. And when you finish throwing the uppercut, your hand is so high that you're not able to defend the takedown. So that was a big mistake by him. And now Rice is right back where he's used to being, inside control. And the reason why wrestlers love being in this position is you can't really get hurt. If you're on top, the other fighter has no power.
Nope. And
he could do the hurting and really can't get hurt. It's a great position for him.
It's a position that David Rice has found himself in for the majority of this fight. Pretty much having his way with David Dubinsky. Going for that.
Yeah, he's going for that Kimura again.
He's got it tight.
Americana.
You're absolutely right, Jay. It would be nice to see David Rice zone in, hone in on one submission right now because he's a little all over the place.
Yeah, well, we don't know what he's thinking, and this is the cool part about being an amateur. You get in there, and maybe he can finish the fight, and he just wants to get in there and work and get experience. I've talked to fighters before when they said that they knew they could have finished the fight early, but they want ring time, octagon time, and I have a small feeling that that's what he's getting here.
I understand what you're saying, Jay, but this is a guy making his debut. Is he that polished that he would toy with a guy like this? You figure, I want to get that first win. I want to get under my belt. Then maybe I'll start messing around with guys when I know I have a clear advantage over them.
Well, that's fair enough. And then maybe we could give some credit to Dubinsky, who's doing a good job of fighting off these submissions. Yes, he's getting taken down, but he's also not getting submitted. But David Rice is doing a great job of just controlling, and that's the hardest part with the takedown, the wrestling department, is controlling the guy when he's down. And Dubinsky just has no answer to get up, and it's smothering and it's exhausting.
Under a minute here, round number 3, the final round of the fight. It's been all David Rice in a very technical battle here. I'll tell you what, the light heavyweight division coming up next. Kareem Scott and Malish Charyu, those guys are not going to be on the ground much. They're going to be standing and brawling. But for now, we sit and we watch David Rice go to work.
Now, people who are watching this might say, oh, this is boring and this stinks, but you got to appreciate someone who's a great wrestler. And David Rice, it's showing he is fantastic. Well, it looks like David Rice is throwing in that rear naked choke, flattening him out, and he might get this, Dan.
Rear naked choke with 5 seconds remaining. Is it enough? Alexius Phoenix giving it a good look. And that's it. We're going to go to the scorecards. An absolute dominant performance by David Rice. He should get his hand raised here in a few moments. Very technical fight we just watched here at Triton Fights 3 from the space at Westbury. Take a look at the replay, Jay.
Yeah, David Rice just, trying to throw different submission attempts at him. He was never threatened once in this fight. And at the end of the round, he went all for that rear naked choke. And he would have gotten it, but the bell expired the round.
David Rice taking a look at him. Sorry, that's David Dubinsky. Put up a good fight. He didn't get submitted. He found himself on his back for a large portion of the fight, but David Rice was the aggressor early and often. Should pick up the first win of his young career. Expecting many more for David Rice in the welterweight division. David Diamante is in the center of the cage. He has the official result of this matchup.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds of action, we go to the judges' score totals. All 3 judges scored this bout the same, 30-27. All 3 for your winner by unanimous decision, David Rice.
I'm here with the winner, David Rice. Davis, take us through this fight a little bit. It was obvious you wanted to use your wrestling, and you did just that.
Yeah, well, I've been wrestling almost my whole life, so might as well just use what I'm good at.
In the first round, you threw it in a late submission, and it looked like you tapped. Take us through that.
I actually was not aware of that, but, well, it's a submission that I usually work on, and it's a little unconventional, the banana split.
So you pick up your first win. What's next for you?
Well, just to get another bout, more experience. This is my first one, so, and hopefully there will be a lot more to come.
David Rice, you look fantastic. Congratulations. We look forward to seeing you again. David Rice, everybody.
And, the first